That
The Yankees have their first spring training game tomorrow against the Braves, which is pretty awesome. I'm excited. I don't think it's televised, but I'm kind of almost hoping it is because I would tune in just to watch.
Just to see some baseball.
Speaking of that Yankees first spring training game, did you hear what they're going to do this year?
I have not heard what they're going to do.
Well, you heard it because I sent it to you last night.
Well, yeah, but...
Gardner is going to play center, and Granderson is moving to left.
Okay. Now, what kind of impact does that have
Apparently,
on the team?
It's because they lost so much in home runs in the offseason. They lost over 100 home runs off their roster this past offseason.
Okay.
They're trying to counteract that with saving some runs on defense. And since Gardner is the faster of the two, Gardner actually started off as a center fielder. They're figuring maybe if Gardner's there, he can do his thing, and Granderson can hopefully adjust to left. And I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to have to see. But could be a play. Could be a move to save him a few runs.
Hey, if you can save runs, you save runs, right? I do gotta say, we got you, Fife. Don't sweat it. Don't you worry about it. I mean, if it's something you can do to save runs, even if you didn't lose all those home runs off of your roster, you still want to save runs. I mean, baseball is not a game where you sit there and say to yourself you want to win in a shootout. You want to win as dominantly as possible. 8-1, 8-0, 1-0. It makes no difference as long as you get the W, obviously, but do you think they make this move even without losing those players? Because to me, if you think this kind of move helps you save yourself from giving up runs, wouldn't you make it no matter what roster moves you made anyway?
You would think so. I don't know. That was just part of their logic behind it.
Okay. I was just that thought process. I'm like, oh, wouldn't you want to save runs no matter what you do? Because that would be sort of the goal.
But Granderson's always been a center fielder. It's not like he's a bad center fielder. So, just trying something a little different this year. That's all. I'm for it. Why not? Give it a go.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, you
bit.
just adjust it, right? It's not like this is like written in stone that once you make this move, you can't go back. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I mean, one of the things we talked about last year with Girardi running the team was the fact that he couldn't pick a lineup, and he kept switching the lineup. And I believe, if I remember correctly, we kept talking about how you wish he could just set his lineup and rock with it for a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is pretty much the same thing. Shout out to Sarah F. and Levy having to leave us. Hope you have yourselves a great day and a wonderful weekend, Sarah. We love you.
Absolutely. Shout out to Sarah.
But I think about that. I'm like, this Yankee team was a good team last year, but they couldn't find that right rhythm when they met up with Detroit, and they couldn't really get themselves going, and it was like every game was a different lineup, and you're like, well, how are you going to get a rhythm when you're not, you sort of want to get a feel for how pitchers are going to go at you based on who you're batting before and who you're batting after and so on and so forth. I mean, but when you go on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, I just think the move makes a lot more sense no matter what reasoning you put behind it. You're trying to get yourself the best defense on the field you possibly can get. Just like what I overheard them talking about possibly having Jeter DH for a little bit. I heard somebody mention moving him out to the outfield.
No, they're not going to move him to the outfield, but they are going to DH him for the early part of spring training. He should be ready for the field, though, like full-time by the time spring training's over. So by game one,
by opening day.
By opening day, he should be in the field. But for the first 2 to 3 weeks of, the spring training season, he's going to be DHing a little more than,
Yeah, which is the right thing to do anyway. I mean, if you really think about it, there's no point to rush him back into spring training.
Plus, they want him to, get his legs back under him, get in a little shape. Like he said, being off his feet for as long as he was, he's never had to do that in an off season. he wasn't able to do his regular off-season workouts.
He actually looked a little thicker.
Yeah.
He didn't look like heavy or overweight. He just looked like he had a little bit more weight on him in general. And that'll
again,
happen.
I think he'll shed,
Oh, yeah.
you know, no problem. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Those first couple weeks in late June and early July with the sun beaming on you, that alone will help you shed a couple pounds without even having to do anything else. While we're on the Yankees, it was also announced that Rivera was throwing yesterday,
Yeah.
which is always exciting.
And the Yankees are doing something they don't normally do, too, and trying to sign Cano. Or at least talking contract extension with him early. The Yankees are far and away known as a team that doesn't really do that. And from everything I read, they are doing that. And they've talked to Scott Boras, and they've already told him, like, we want to make you a significant contract offer, probably somewhere in the realm of, you know, what King Felix and Pujols and those guys have been getting.
Okay.
So, but I don't think it'll be to that extreme. I think it'll probably be, you're looking at probably like 20 to 23, I bet you he gets a year.
Which is still a nice amount of money.
I mean, he's making 15 this year.
Yeah, not complaining about that much money.
And he's 30, so he's right in the prime.
Now, will you be upset, though, if they go crazy like they did with like a Pujols and give him 10 years?
I think I'd be upset if they gave him 10. I think the max I would really give him is like 6 with an option for a 7th.
Okay. Because I was saying, I mean, that's one
that
thing.
gets you to 36. The option gets you to 37. Once he hits that age, then you probably want to reevaluate things.
Yeah.
He's probably not worth the same amount anymore. So, but for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, he's going to be one of the best players in the league.
Because, I mean, that's one thing that bothered me about the Pujols contract was like, look, the guy's 30 years old. I understand that first half of that contract's going to look pretty, but that second half of that contract, I mean, you're really going to be paying this guy money that he probably won't deserve by that point of his career. And you're talking Albert Pujols. Like, I mean, the machine. But Cano, that would be a big signing. I know Yankee fans don't want to lose him. He's sort of that future, the future is now almost kind of guy for the New York Yankees, where you need him now, but you also know over the next couple of years you're going to need him. Because let's be serious, Jeter's not going to be around forever. Even though Yankee fans wish A-Rod was already done, he's sooner or later will be done. You know, Cano's sort of that next, that stepping stone kind of guy where you keep that team still relevant without, falling too far back. But so if you're a Yankee fan, I can't lie, you should feel pretty good heading into the season. Do you feel that way?
I feel that way.
All right. See, and that to me. And I know one thing about you as a Yankee fan. You're not some guy that's just like, well, they're the Yankees. Of course I feel good. No, you would be blatantly honest. Like, no.
No, I think it's going to be interesting to watch this year. They plan on playing more small ball. Something that, most Yankee fans, including myself, hasn't really been accustomed to in the last bunch of years. We got a few more speed guys on the roster. We got, hopefully some guys that can work some at-bats. And, I'm excited to see them and excited to see where they go and how they do.